Welcome to IHIP News. I would like to start the class off by reading this quote from RFK Jr. And he says, "You cannot trust medical advice from medical professionals."
Coming from someone with no medical experience.
And a brainworm.
That eats bears, chops off whale heads. I just look at him and I think, God, his voice alone is just enough for me to never want to hear from him again.
Why are Americans now so opposed to listening to experts in their field that have devoted decades of their life studying to be experts in something? Like, I don't understand how a person can think, I got it. I'm going to listen to the trust fund baby,
right?
RFK Jr., who's never been to medical school. And I'm not going to listen to the scientists and the medical doctors. I don't understand this assault on expertise. It is, I guess it's a sign of fascism, where you just tear down every part of society for the dear leader.
Kind of reminds me of during COVID when you said, and it stuck with me because I thought it was so funny, if you have COVID and you're in respiratory distress, you need to go to the Facebook hospital if you don't believe in science. If you're on the internet and you're on Facebook and you've been diagnosed, then you go see the Facebook people. That's who you need to go to. So these people that want to go all in on RFK, have RFK do your open heart surgery. Have him place a stent. Have him deliver your baby, because you don't believe in science, because you don't get to have it just when it's an emergency, because now you're undermining the entire fucking system. It drives me crazy.
And you know what's alarming is there's quite a few physicians that are Trumpers. Yeah, an alarming number. And it's like this whole self-defeating vote. Like, I wish in my perfect world, part of the resistance would be in red states like ours for every single OBGYN and nurse and everybody that works in that area of expertise to go on strike.
Right.
And say, we are not treating for anybody if you're going to meddle in our life-saving procedures that we can do. Instead, this is, I think, how fascism just floods the zone. You have, people leaving this state and women dying or suffering complications where they can't, breed in the future or get pregnant in the future. And so it's just, I guess we're just really like at the age of unenlightenment. And I think I get it. Like, people, I don't get it, but people voted for Trump. They like how stupid he is. They like how he talks like a real person and all this, hokey shit that he does, the double jerk off dance and all that stuff. But they're really just throwing out everything with it. And then you're going to have, some guy sitting at home, who probably clogging his arteries right here as we're sitting here speaking. And then he's going to need to go to the hospital. Mm-hmm. And then voila, he's going to trust science and an expert when his life depends on it. But until then, he's not going to give a shit about it. He's going to think that his research,
right,
that he's personally doing and posting to his Facebook wall is more important than the research of all of these medical fields.
It amazes me. It absolutely amazes me how dumb people are. I mean, I just don't know what else to say about it. But the undermining of facts and expertise, it is the age of unenlightenment. So one thing I wanted to bring up, Jennifer, I don't know if you've seen it, but Marjorie Taylor Green, the craziest rat in the shit house, has been tweeting. And this, I want to read you the quote from Dear Marge. For my Republican colleagues in the House and Senate, if you are going to release ethics reports and rip apart our own that Trump has appointed, then put it all out there for the American people to see. Yes, all the ethics reports and claims, including the one I filed, all your sexual harassment and assault claims that were secretly settled, paying off victims with taxpayer money, the entire Jeffrey Epstein files, tapes, recordings, and witness interviews. But not just those, there's more. Epstein isn't the only asset. If we're going to dance, let's all dance in the sunlight. I'll make sure we do.
I say, giddy up, Marge. Let's go.
Marge, I'm for you.
Let's go. I would love nothing more than to be served up all the shit that all of these people do. And I would think of it as a juicy T-bone steak.
Absolutely.
I'd put my bib on and I would just start cutting into it, bite by bite. And I would patiently chew each bite thoroughly before I swallowed it and moved on to the next. I mean, I agree. If we're in crazy town, let's do it. Let's roll the dice. Let's just go. Let me read to you something that I saw that she tweeted. Okay, she tweeted, if you believe that today's, quote, climate change is caused by too much carbon, you have been fooled. We live on a spinning planet that rotates around a much bigger sun, along with other planets and heavenly bodies rotating around the sun that all create gravitational pull on one another, while our galaxy rotates and travels through the universe. Considering all of that, yes, our climate will change, and it's totally normal. This is from the acclaimed astrophysicist Marjorie Taylor Green,
the Jewish space laser gal
that hails from the great state of Georgia.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that she's even in Congress is just an abomination. But the shit she spews out and the fact that people believe it, like I often wonder who is voting for Marjorie Taylor Green, but it's the same people that are voting for.
This has been going on for a long time. Yeah. Think about Jim Inhofe, the senator from our state. He had a freak flag, but he just didn't wave it as hard as Marjorie's.
Right.
Also, I do think there is an inherent sexism in judging all of her crazy that Jim Inhofe, who was an avid climate denier, he brought a snowball to the Senate floor. Men get away with being crazy, but this is not the first crazy anti-climate person. This has been going on for decades. They've been doing this. Now they just have larger numbers in it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And then I just wanted to touch on, so as we all know, in the great state of Oklahoma, our state school superintendent is a full-blown Christian nationalist nutball. He is as crazy as I've ever seen. And he has been campaigning since before the election to be in Trump's White House, I think, because he goes out and mandates that all Oklahoma schools have a Bible, but the only Bible that qualifies is the Trump Bible. So I think that was a play for him to be picked into Trump's cabinet. And I could pull out the statistics real quick on the Department of Education in Oklahoma. This is Oklahoma. 44th in education, 49th in healthcare, 44th in quality of life, 50th in test scores, and top 10 worst of poverty. But we got our guy Ryan Walters wanting to buy Trump Bibles. And so Trump, who does he pick to be the Secretary of Education in his cabinet? Wasn't Ryan Walters. It was the co-founder of WWE, which I
perfect. That's
exactly.
Perfect. If I'm president of the United States, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, you know what? Let's get the My Pillow guy.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's get RFK Jr. Let's get Hulk Hogan. Let's get the WWE people. Let's get a bunch of sexual abusers.
For sure.
Let's get that crazy kook Mike Johnson, who thinks the earth is 6,000 years old, to head up science. I mean, it's just, of course, this is what they're doing. But here's what I'm going to say about Ryan Walters, because everything is all about religion to these people. And I want to say this. Sometimes in the comment section, when we pick on religion, people will say, they're not real Christians. And that's the same argument that the right wing uses to talk about left-leaning Americans. They're not real Americans, real America. The situation with Christianity is it's a big problem in this country. It is a massive problem. You don't have to dive into the comment section and say, oh no, you don't have to defend it. We know that there are people who don't take the Bible literally, who use their faith personally to try to enrich themselves and the people around them. But you don't really hear about them because they don't have to scream it all the time. But they are Christians, as are all of these other people. It all comes under the same umbrella. You can't disown part of them and say, well, we're the real ones and they're the fake ones and blah, blah, blah. There is a Christianity problem in this country, the exact same way that there is a problem with Islam in Iran and Saudi Arabia in the way it subjugates women. And until we sit around and have an honest conversation about that and start talking about these mega churches, their political agendas, the grift, and if you think it's helpful in the comment section to say, oh, they're not real, I'm the real one, it's not helpful. No. Because it is a Christian problem. It is a huge problem. And Trump knew that he could exploit this vote. He knew that they would all come out in droves and vote for him based on the abortion issue and being, recreationally cruel. And they get this idea. I want to remind everybody, God of the Bible committed genocide on the planet because he was mad at his creation and picked an old man to float around in a boat with a couple of animals. And so the cruelty's been there the whole time. And so until we start embracing facts and science, and if somebody wants to have magical thinking, you want to do your horoscope charts and you want to go to Sunday school and you want to do all that, that's fine. Keep it out of the areas of expertise.
Right.
And you don't see, you always, these people that believe in magical thinking have to come in and defend the magical thinking. And you can do it all you want to. It's a free country for now.
Right. Knock,
knock on wood. But at some point, we're going to have to address the religious problem and the Christian problem, because to me, all roads kind of lead back to that from the 1950s to now.
Right. How the influence of religion on politics and how it's infiltrating government is a huge problem, which the founding fathers took great pains to separate. And now it's just coming in, flooding in. So I'm with you. The Christians need to clean their own house before they start talking real or fake. They need to clean it up.
Agree. And the religion has impacted people's ability to critically think. So they buy into all this shit that we don't need experts because I'm praying about it, because Jesus is my homeboy, and Jesus saved Trump from the assassin and put him back in the White House and all this crazy shit. And so I think, you know what, every politician we have on the podcast moving forward, I'm just going to say, what do you all plan to do about all of the political indoctrination in churches and how it's been a cancer in this country? Why won't y'all go after it?
And why won't you tax the churches? Because that's against the law. They're supposed to lose their exempt status if they're doing that, and they damn sure are.
Yeah, because guess what? All these cuckoo for cocos, Marjorie Taylor Green, Moses Mike Johnson, all crazy religious nuts, Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, all of them.
All of them.
And so, that's what we need to be talking about.
I completely agree.
All right, bye.
It's so